Hi everyone, and in today's video we're going to continue the story of episode 4. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for Phantasy Star Online Blueburst. So today's video we're just going to continue the G General quests in episode 4. In the last episode we started the episode and we didn't really find out a whole lot. We just learned that there'd been some kind of meteor impact on Ragol, and that there was several teams working on the surface, I guess trying to figure out what's going on. We've run into a few NPCs that we've seen previously, but we don't really know a whole lot more than that at the moment. So we'll get straight into it, and we'll start up with this 193, which is Reality and Truth. Thank you for coming, Hunter Taker. We need you to clear the southern route to the central crater area. The principal survey team requires that this route be secure. I believe you've already encountered the new creatures of this region. Ensure that these foes do not pose a further threat to the survey team. The teleporter has been programmed with the appropriate coordinates. It will send you down to the southern route of the crater. That's it. Good luck. I'm sorry, but I've got other matters to attend to right now. Besides, I don't have anything to add beyond what Irene's already explained. We're still waiting on the full analysis. Why have so many of these new creatures appeared so suddenly? We've got to get some more data. Thanks for what you did earlier. Now I can start up my research again. So yeah, we're not really getting a whole lot from these guys. So for now, I guess all we can do is just try and clear this route out like the principal has asked for. Do we have anything else from these guys? Remember those guys in uniform that I've been talking about? Now, have you heard of an army division known as Works? I wonder who their captain is. So again, we got Works mentioned in the last episode, so we now know that Works is a division of the army. There was this cute girl who was hanging out in the medical centre. Some soldier really had his eye on her. Guys like that really freaked me out. I'd rather not think about it anymore. Photon technology. It's one of the greatest subjects one can research. Come to think of it, that strange light that knocked the meteor off course. Could it have been something to do with photons? So, I heard that there was a nice male hunter who helped clear the way. They say he was young and seemed honest, but something was weird. Would you like to elaborate further on that? Hey, guess what? Some weird guy with a long cape and mask came by here. What kind of freak dresses like that anyway? And well, regarding the cute girl that was in the medical centre, unless they mean the nurses, then she's not here anymore. You know, I never see that girl around here anymore. Okay. There's obviously been someone in the medical centre that they're quite keen on telling us about. New life forms are apparently going berserk down in Ragol again. I've heard that we lack resources to withstand these attacks. I think we need to brace ourselves for the worst. Panic seems to be slowly spreading in the military. I wonder what new orders my superiors will have for me. So clearly things are not going well in the Pioneer 2 military. So we're going out the surface, and again we're back into Crater. And this is the southern route, which if it looks very familiar to the previous routes, it is, because all the Crater routes kind of look the same. So as usual, we're just doing this in normal to get through fast. And we'll just push through this and try and figure out what's going on. Okay, so after clearing a few more rooms, we've run into Ash again. This is kind of how episode 4 works. Quite often you'll push through a few zones, then you'll run into an NPC. It's a little bit different to episode 1 and 2 because episode 1 and 2 is largely driven by message capsules and figuring things out on your own, whereas episode 4 is a bit more direct and actually has you running into NPCs along the way. So we'll check in with Ash and see what he's got to say. Why am I tired? Looks like I can't always trust my instincts. I also think I took a wrong turn somewhere. I was attacked by these creatures and got separated from my team. I haven't been able to track them down. I wonder what I should do now. Well, I would suggest going through this warp here. So if Ash got separated from his team, I'm going to assume that most other people might have done as well. It does seem like it's a quest where there's a few different routes to go. So you can see even here there's a few different routes. Yeah, so the theme of this quest seems to be these dark rooms. So I'm assuming that once we clear this, we'll probably run into another NPC maybe. That'll be my assumption. So we are starting to run into this new enemy as well. So we've got these big birds that are called Zoo. And they are also native enemies. We didn't get any in the last quests. But they are also native enemies as well. So again, it lends credence to this theory that the native life has gone berserk again. But again, at this point, we don't really know why that's happening. Obviously, last time it was because of a result of the influence of faults. And all the mutations that had been caused and everything as well. Whereas this time, we don't really have any concrete evidence as to what exactly is going on yet. Okay, so as I thought, we've run into Bernie. So these NPCs like Ash and Bernie, they do feature quite strongly in episode 4, honestly. In episode 1, they were largely side story characters that you ran into occasionally in quests. But in episode 4, they're actually almost front and center in the story. Hey, maybe you've seen her. Have you seen a short phony whirl in purple? Now we have, in the last episode, there was a phony whirl in that quest. No, but you saw a purple hue cast. No. I'm only interested in finding a particular phony whirl. Oh, don't worry about it. Sorry to have bothered you. Still, where could she have gone? I could have sworn that she was right here. I'm in big trouble. So we met this phony whirl in the last episode, so she's a phony whirl that appears in the Grand Squall quest. And you rescue her right at the end, but you don't see her again until episode 4, really. So it's clear that Bernie's looking for her. As for what reason that he's looking for her, we don't really know. But Bernie was also involved in the Grand Squall quest, so maybe it's a link to that. Okay, well this is a new route at least, so we'll try this way. Again, from a lore perspective, there isn't much to go on at the moment, just because it's still kind of building up the story of episode 4. We've essentially got a few plots going on at once here. So we've got the plot of the meteor strike and why that happened and why everything's aggressive on Raggle again. We've got the plot of Bernie obviously trying to find this phony whirl and why black paper and works are on the surface. So there is a lot going on. We just don't know a whole lot about any of it yet. Okay, so after we clear that room, we've got these guys here again. Don't think there's anything in this way. So I met these guys in the last episode as well. These are from the military and they were basically blocking our progress, and it looks like they're doing the same again here. You finally arrived. I knew you'd come. No, it's nothing. I didn't mean anything by it. Entry beyond this point is strictly prohibited. Because it looks like we are blocked off again. You can see that is the way to the next area though, so we can't go there yet. So again, our only option is to go back to Pioneer. So there is clearly a subplot going on with this fun new world that was in one of the earlier quests. Now, at the moment, we don't really know anything about her. We just know that she's a fun new world. We know that she was involved with the Grand Squall quest in episode 1, but beyond that, we really don't know anything else. But there is clearly something going on. You've secured us a path. That's great news. The southern route to the crater area is key to our plans. Well then. Now maybe we can get a better handle on this mystery. Thank you. You've done a good job. Why not take a break for now? You've secured the southern route to the crater. That's great news, thank you. Now we can send out our advanced survey teams. We owe you all so much for this. You deserve a break. Go relax. So we're up to 9-4 Pursuit. Thanks for coming, Hunter Taker. Before I get into the details, I need to ask something. Do you know Leo Grahart and Rupika by any chance? I'm going to say no. I do know who they are, but I'll say no just for the purpose of this. Okay. Rupika is a Newman and a fellow hunter like yourself. She's been under observation by the principal's office. A few days ago, though, we lost track of her completely. At the same time, members of Works went into action. Their division leader is a government official named Leo Grahart. He was last seen together with Rupika. We would like you to try and track them down. The reason for their disappearance remains a mystery. Grahart was captain of the 32nd Infantry Division of Works. We've heard that they've been up to something recently. We have word that he's been residing inside that crater. So in all likelihood, that is where they can both be found. Use the northern route to get to the crater with utmost haste. Speed is of the essence for this mission. Also, this mission is absolutely top secret in every regard. So it's critical that you maintain this secrecy. Is this understood? Good. Works has been sending its members into the crater. We've been and continue to be very uneasy about this. Please use extreme caution. Did Leo Grahart give that order without proper approvals? I'm not sure, but we need to find out what's going on. So Leo is the leader of the division called Works. And it looks like he is with this person called Rupika, which all I've said so far is that Rupika is a Newman. However, we can probably put 2 and 2 together at this point, due to the fact that people like Bernie in the last quest were looking for a Fornuel. So we can kind of put 2 and 2 together, and yes, Rupika is that Fornuel. So we're now also looking for her. So she's gone missing for some reason. We really don't know why. That guy with the cape has been the talk of the town lately. But who is he? One of your fellow hunters was running around in a panic. He had a pretty nice body though, so I didn't really mind. You disgust me. whole bunch of those guys in uniform all went down to Ragol. What's going on? I'm worried. Again, everything is very, very secretive, as expected. The meteor impact, the military crisis, it's one thing after another. What's going to happen to us? Again, very familiar to episode 1 this, in that everyone on Pioneer has more or less been left in the dark. They say the crater is really, really huge. I mean, I've only heard stories, but still. That can't have just been any old meteor. We'll go and check with the nurse actually, because we know that Rupika sometimes hung out in the medical centre. If you head to the medical centre for aid. You know, I never see that girl around here anymore. Hope she's okay. Military personnel being given very difficult assignments. There's been drastic internal restructuring as well. Rumour has it that Leo is back in full force. You know the saying, there's no smoke where there's no fire. I think if I did, there's no smoke without fire, but near enough. If it's true, we could have a major crisis on our hands. Okay, so we're now on the Crater Northern route, which again looks very familiar to all the other routes. It does change eventually, I promise. I think one of the issues with episode 4 is because there's only a couple of areas. It does get quite repetitive because with episode 1 and 2 you had you had more areas to cover, so it felt a bit fresher. Where episode 4 does feel like you're fighting the same enemies a lot. Okay, so it looks like black paper is still active on the surface. These creatures are no challenge to either you or me, right? Ask yourself, why has Works been sent here? Works is a very zealous organisation. I don't know your role in this, but I must continue to follow their trail. So that's very interesting. So it looks like Black Paper are actually trailing Works and trying to figure out what Works are what Works are doing and what Works are up to. Now, admittedly, Black Paper probably have their own interests in mind because, you know, at the end of the day, they are a criminal group. But it is interesting that they're following Works so closely. So it looks like, once again, this way is blocked off. What? Now we're being called to convene? Ugh. They just told me to be on the lookout here. But they didn't say what I'm on the lookout for. Huh. What are you doing here? What, did you want to get through here? Yes. Well, I'm really hurting for Mazetta. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, understand? So clear that the military, or I'm guessing Works because they're blocking access to the crater. Clear that they're, you know, quite corrupt. I'll open this up if you give me 1,000 Mazetta. This guy's my superior officer? Is he trying to get me in trouble? Ugh. Shut up, don't say another word. I'm sick of being just a good little soldier. Command can go and find someone else who'll listen to them. So what are you going to do then? I think I can probably afford to give him 1,000 Mazetta. Yes, it is bribery. But I have about 500,000 on me, so it's not really a big deal. I knew you'd understand. 1,000 Mazetta then? Here, in exchange you can have this. I saw nothing. Talk to my superior officer. He's just given up at this point. There, it's open. Go on through. So we can finally get to Crater Interior now because of that. So this is Crater Interior, so we finally have an area that actually looks a bit different. Unfortunately, it is all exactly the same enemies as Crater, but you can see this is a much bigger area. And what you can see, it's separated up into these segments, and there's these huge chasms that all sort of resonate from the center area. And as we get down closer, you'll see where the actual impact site is. So we're actually close to where the meteor actually impacted now. Again, just kind of feel like this is one of the areas where episode 4 feels a little bit lazy, honestly. The fact that this, although it's still Crater, it is a different part of Crater. But for it to have all exactly the same enemies, it does feel a little bit half-baked to an extent. And you'll see as we get further into episode 4, you'll see that kind of continues. Okay, so we've got some more soldiers. So clearly works are very heavily involved here. Our duty is our duty. The captain's orders are absolute. It's an honour to serve. And that's final. So what I'm getting from this is that the military is very split. It seems that there are some people who are very supportive of, I assume, Leo. And some are very against him, to the point of basically revolting. We serve but one leader. Hail Captain Leo. Captain Leo's orders are followed without question. So it does kind of seem like the people who follow him are pretty much mindless drones at this point, that just do everything he says without question. As for why that is, we don't really know. Why Leo is so revered among the military, or at least among some part of the military at least. So again, the structure of Crater Interior is pretty much like an outer circle, so it just circles around the perimeter, around the circumference of the crater itself. You can see that if I go down here, you'll actually get a better look at the crater itself. So this is the actual impact zone from the crater. Now what you can see is that there is a portal over there that leads somewhere. And you can also see that there is what looks like lifts that have been put in place. So it's clear there is a lot of man-made technology that's here already. So it's clear that something is definitely going on below the surface, which does kind of tally up with what the principal and Irene were saying, that it looks like Leo Grahart might have set up in the crater itself. But you can see from looking at this as well, just the scale of the damage that the impact did. So whatever this crater was, it was huge. It did massive damage when the meteor actually hit. They say that the captain has been abducted. But that's impossible. Nobody can defeat the captain. Ridiculous rumours. The military is also investigating the creatures in this area. The captain has ordered us to set up a tactical perimeter. You hunters had better not get in our way. Again, the tensions between the military and the Hunters Guild still exists in episode 4. So that is a long-running thing with PSO. The military and the Hunters Guild had never really seen eye to eye. Well, that appears to be Rupika and Leo. Well, we assume that's Leo anyway, given that we've been told that he's been with Rupika. So it's clear that we're not far behind them. You hunters are sticking your necks out a bit too far. If you get too deep into this, you'll be sorry. It's best if you just leave now. Hey, you there. Do you know anything about photon drops? Doesn't look like it. Sorry for asking. I wonder if he gives you something if you give him a photon drop. I'm going to quickly test this. I'm curious. Okay, now he doesn't care. I'm assuming maybe if you talk to him with a photon drop in your inventory at the beginning of the quest, maybe he does something. Okay, so I run into Bernie again. I'm assuming that Bernie's still on the trail of Rupika. Oh, is he stood down here? Yes, he is. So, Leo's the one who took Rupika away. But why? I'm a bit forgetful at times, but I keep my promises. But if things end up like this, then that promise will mean nothing. Leo? So it's clear that Bernie and Leo maybe have some history. You get the impression that Bernie knows more about what's going on than he's letting on. What is it? You want some info? Yeah, sure. Fine. 10,000 Mazetta. So again, very clear that works are extremely corrupt. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm loaded. I'll give you 100,000 if you want. There was a certain project. It was begun before our division was formed. That meteor crashing into Ragol was like an omen to reform this plan. Data from the control tower via WIS. The weapon that took down the meteor. The impact site. That girl's power. And finally, the Mother Project. The project has entered its final stage. To discover the truth, go underground beneath the crater. But alas, there's nothing you can do. I like how this random soldier is like the guy who's told us the most about the story so far. So now there's something called the Mother Project going on, which again is kind of a running thing with Phantasy Star. So it's nice that they're linking it to that a little bit. We now know that the meteor, some kind of weapon, and the girl's power are all linked to this project. Now, by the girl's power, I'm going to assume that it's something to do with Rupika, because Rupika seems very integral to the story at the moment. Hey, I heard that a blue laser from Ragol knocked the meteor from its path. I wonder if the laser was some kind of orbital space defense weapon. But why bother? Couldn't Pioneer 2 just have handled it? You don't think... No, it couldn't be. Leave me alone. So it's also very obvious that the military aren't necessarily entirely clued in on this either. So although we had that first guy who seemed to know an awful lot about it, the second guy gave the impression that he wasn't as in on things. So whether that's rumours circulating in the military, we know that the military is in a very awkward place at the moment. We know that a lot of the military are considering defecting or have sworn allegiance to Leo. It seems very mixed at the moment. So, there could be all sorts of misinformation going around. So I do wonder what Ash is doing, because he was obviously very close to Rupika and Leo there. So why didn't he do anything? I thought you'd already be ahead of me. Guess my luck's changing. What? Did I lose them again? Damn. We've got to focus. I will save her. So that makes it very clear that those two NPCs, the two military ones, are obviously working with Leo. So it looks like they've blocked our progress again. What is father thinking? Why is he obsessed with that girl? So that adds a lot to the story there. Seems like we've got some pests buzzing about. Why? Why am I... There's no need for questions, my dear. But you shall soon see. I cannot let anyone interfere with my plans, not even you, Karen. Soon now. Very soon. So it's clear that Leo's gone underground. Now, he mentioned a Karen. Karen is this NPC here, so this is Leo Grahart, who is, as you may have picked up from what she said, is Leo's daughter. What? You again? I don't know what you're trying to pull, but don't interfere with the military. Now leave this vicinity at once. Karen, the captain must have a logical reason for what he's doing. You. This area will soon be under military control. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave. By the way, this NPC does actually have a name, this raycast. He's called Gilliam. I don't think it ever actually tells you that in the story, but yeah, he is called Gilliam. So it's clear that Leo has taken Rupika underground into the depths of the crater. Again, we don't really know the exact reason, but we assume it's something to do with this mother project, maybe. And maybe it's all connected to whatever threw the crater off target, because we know that something was fired from the surface to interrupt the trajectory of the meteor. So we think it's all probably linked at this point, but we don't know the actual specifics of what exactly is going on. I see. So, Leo Grahart took Rupika underground. We need to act with utmost haste. We've got to find out what's inside the crater. We'll set the teleporter coordinates for the underground stratum. Please come back once we've completed our preparations. Until then, please rest. You've done a good job. They got away? I see. I wonder why he took Rupika underground. I'll inform the principal and see what we need to do next. Thank you for your work. We'll let you know when we have work for you. Evidently, Works and the Hunters Guild don't get along. There's also rumours of a counterforce created to oppose Works. They're obviously working behind the scenes. We don't have much solid information on them. That's very interesting, so we now know that there's some other military force that is against Works and is trying to usurp them, or stop what they're doing. We don't know who's involved with that though. The military has mobilised their Works division. Works was a powerful special ops task force back in our home world. To curb their power, Leo was given a different government position. The elite members of this division were assigned to Pioneer 1 as well. Still, even with Works weakened, it seems Leo Grahart hasn't given up. If he's still in charge, then we're all in a lot of trouble. So it looks like there's been issues with Leo in the past with him having too much power. And it looks like he's now reclaimed the head of works and is obviously up to no good again. So we'll end that one there for today. In the next episode, we'll try and venture a bit deeper into the crater, maybe try and go underground and find out what's happening to Rupika and, try and figure out what Leo's actually up to. And we'll also try and find out a bit more about this counter force that's trying to oppose works as well. So I hope you're enjoying the series so far. If you are, please consider liking, subscribing, or joining as a member on YouTube. You can also follow me over on Twitch at Section Skylight, where I stream twice a week, and on Twitter at Section Skylight as well. Also, we have a Discord channel which you can join where we play games off stream as well. So feel free to join us over there. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But yeah, hope you're enjoying the playthrough so far, and I'll see you guys in the next one.